Hey guys, welcome in. I have my teapot here. I'm going to do my first ever TBR poll. I was inspired to do this by a few channels. The first one that I ever saw do it was August is Reading, and she actually has a TBR jar, which is full of prompts. I have tried in the past, haven't recorded it for YouTube, but I have tried in the past to do kind of put every book I haven't read's title in the teapot. But I found that doesn't really work because I guess I'm more of a mood reader, as they say. So I went ahead and I made some prompts, pretty random, and I'm going to go ahead and pull, I think I'll pull 4, and then I will go ahead and go search them out and kind of let you know what I decided. I will do kind of a short just video of my bookshelves, which I've mentioned on the channel before. I'm getting new bookshelves, so it's all kind of a mess. I don't like to have a lot of books in my house that I haven't read. However, I have over the last probably 2 years collected way too many books. I am guessing my TBR has about 150 books on it. Ooh, that's terrible. That is absolutely terrible. I think since I knew I was getting new bookshelves, I decided to just kind of go wild. I also went to a couple book sales that were really, really big, and then they had a basically free day on the last day, and I went a little nuts. So I did some pretty major book hauls in the last year and a half. So we're going to try to get that TBR down. I'd like it to be about 50 books. I think that's still a lot, but I think it's more reasonable. So that's kind of my goal from July till the end of the year, is to just try to read through as much as I can. I'm currently reading, if you can read that, Crossroads, Jonathan Franzen. It's a very thick book. So that's why I'm only going to go ahead and draw 4 out of the TBR teapot. So let's get started. Here we go. I bought this teapot for a tea party that I have with my mother-in-law, and I didn't really have a use for it. I drink tea, but I use electric tea kettles, so I'm glad I found a use for it. Okay, first one. All right. So I need to pick a book that was published over 20 years ago. If you can read. That's a good one. I think that'll be fun. There's definitely some like more classics that I want to get to, so we'll see if it ends up being one of those or just a random 20-year-old book. Oh, it's hard not to look. Oh! Okay. Second shelf, second book. I have no idea what that is. I'm a little scared for that one. Okay, let's do another. We got 2 to go. All right. First or last name of the author begins with an R. With R. Okay. I don't know what that's going to be either. Why am I so nervous? This is silly. Okay. Final one. A bland book. So that is any book that I have on my shelf that looks kind of meh. I don't know. Boring-ish, maybe. Or maybe the cover's bad. Maybe the blurb isn't great. I try to declutter a lot, so I don't know how many of these I will find. But I'll go ahead and I'll probably just pull a few for each of these, and then we will decide. Okay, guys, these are my shelves right now. Don't look at the bottom. These were actually decorative shelves. They aren't made to hold a lot of weight. So I did go ahead and get some Billy bookcases that I will be using. But yeah, these are kind of just a brief overview of most of my books. There's some books elsewhere as well. And again, a lot of these I haven't read. There's a few there I have read, but a lot of them I haven't read. I will do more of a regular like bookshelf tour once I get everything a little more organized, I'm going to pan over to this shelf for you. A lot of these over here are kind of more, I don't know, like self-help-ish books and some miscellaneous. I hope I'm holding this steady enough for you. And some of these you may recognize from my most recent haul. Best book I've read this year, by far. And I got some cool Fear Streets on the top. I also have just a few books here on my mantle. And I do have some books, that one's backwards, out in my garage as well. Yeah. And then my books from my most recent time capsule video, I have upstairs, just kind of in a bag waiting for the shelves. So yeah, let's get started. Okay guys, I'm back. It was quite a marathon looking through all of my books for these things, but I pulled, you know, several books in each category, except for the one book, which was second book, second shelf. So yeah, I am going to just go through what I pulled and then make a decision, but you know, it's not firm. So if you have any books that maybe I didn't choose that you would recommend or would like to see me read, please put them in the comments. Let's get started. So this was the second book, second shelf. Small Mercies by Dennis Lehane, I think you pronounce. I don't know much about what this book is about, but it is blurbed by, you know, Stephen King, S.A. Cosby, Gillian Flynn. So it might be good. It looks like it's about a family and a teenage daughter that goes missing and a murder, and it takes place in the summer of 1974. Okay, so I guess that's what we're choosing. Those of you who've been around a little while know I don't love like historical fiction. I wouldn't consider that historical, but 70s is a while ago now. So for a book published over 20 years ago, I picked up this little stack here. And so the top one, R.L. Stine, Broken Hearts, is a Fear Street super chiller, and it takes place on Valentine's Day. So I could save this until Valentine's Day next year. Tempted to, but I also kind of want to read it. It could also go under my author's beginning or last initial being R. So I don't know. Broken Hearts. It says, there's someone out there, someone who kills on Valentine's Day. Josie and Melissa are scared, especially when they receive threatening Valentines. Then the murders begin. Who is sending these horrible Valentines to the girls of Shadyside High, and who will be the next to die? I might have to save that for Valentine's. The next book, I think I read years ago. I don't remember it. I honestly can't remember quitting reading it. Is Tobias Wolff's Old School. And I think this came out in 2003. So, technically over 20 years ago. I thought it was the 90s. But I believe this is a story of him growing up in a kind of like a Catholic boarding school or something. So we have that. And then this book has been floating around my TBR shelf, and I really want to read it. I got this 2 years ago at one of those big book sales that they gave out free books at the end, I believe. And this is Mark Lehner, My Cousin, My Gastroenterologist. And I read only one Mark Lehner book in my life, and it totally blew my mind. So I am very, very, very tempted. He does some really zany off-the-wall stuff. And I mean, look at how, like, what is this? I think this is a top contender. The type is super small, though, and I don't love that, but we got that one. And then we got Douglas Copeland, Girlfriend in a Coma. I shared this in a recent haul. Okay. So those are the contenders for over 20 years ago. I have more books over 20 years ago. These ones just like spoke to me. I think if I had to choose, I'd probably choose the Mark Lehner. Okay. Let me know what you'd choose. And then first or last name of author beginning with R. Okay. So this book I've had for years and I've wanted to read and I never have. Russell Banks' Trailer Park. I opened to a random page and one of the lines of dialogue was F you honky. So I think this could be interesting and it could be something I really do need to get to because it's just been sitting around. So this might be in the top pick here. We'll see. Then I have Celia Rivenbank's You Don't Sweat Much for a Fat Girl, Observations on Life from the Shallow End of the Pool. So again, this was one I picked up at the free sale. If you saw my newbie book tag, you'll know that I do like funny memoir. And I think this would be like a good breezy summer read. So that is a contender. And then this one, The Last Devil to Die, Richard Osman. This is in the Thursday Murder Club series, which I have listened to the audio of the first three. I believe this is the fourth. And I don't know. It's huge, but the type is really big. I'm not sure if I want to get into this. This seems to me more like a winter read. So I think I'll save that. And then this one I got at the library book sale and they had a $5 bag day. And I didn't mean to show up for that. It just happened to be when I could go. And it is Ruth Ware, One Perfect Couple. Now, I did mention in my newbie book tag, I read thrillers, but mostly on audio. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to try a physical thriller. But yeah, I think we're between these two. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So we have those. And then the last one was a bland book. Now, I kind of went off of covers at first when I pulled these. And then I rethought it a little bit. So the first one is the most bland looking book that I own. Which is How to Be a Normal Person by T.J. Klune. There's a pot leaf, right? But like, it's very self-published, bland. I got this from my best friend and he really recommended it. And then I started to read the back, the synopsis. It's probably one of the most wild synopsises of any book that I do own. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's anything but normal. So he's trying to be normal. I mean, he has a pet ferret. He owns a video rental store that no one goes to. He hangs out with drag queens and elderly Vespa riders. So this might actually be saved for a very exciting book. The next one is Dear Committee Members by Julie Schumacher. I showed this in a recent haul. To me, it looks just kind of boring, right? And it's a professor of creative writing and literature based book, and I don't love books about professors, so to me, this might be the most bland. We'll see. The next is The Office of Historical Corrections, a novella in stories by Daniel Evans. And that title and the cover, just boring. We'll see. If this is your favorite book, let me know. Yeah, it just, even the description is kind of vague. They're just talking about characters. Like, she likes to write about characters and their lives, and boring. Again, I think I picked this up at a free sale. And this one I for sure picked up, this next one, at a free sale. It's called Shoulder Season, a novel by Christina Clancy. And I don't really know what this is about. I think it's a romance, but set in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which I thought was interesting. It says a unlikely location for a family-friendly Playboy resort. And it's about a Playboy bunny. I don't know. I mean, that doesn't sound too boring. I just thought the cover, again, on this one was super boring looking. So this one might be too exciting. The next one is Family Trees by Kirsten March. You can see. And to me, this just sounds boring, looks boring. Sensible and self-reliant Shelby Myers knows exactly what she wants. It just sounds horrible. I don't know why I picked this up. So this might be the most boring one of the bunch. And then the last one I picked up, which honestly compared to these others doesn't look as boring, is Stillwater by Nicole Helget. She's a Minnesota author that I do like. But yeah, her books are kind of more slow and, boring-ish. But I think this is actually way too exciting for the ones that I picked out. So out of these, I guess the most boring would be between these two here. Let me hold them up for you. So if you have an opinion on which one of these I should read, let me know. God, it's like a dead tie for me. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm going to go with The Office of Historical Correction, a novel and stories, just because I haven't read a lot of short stories lately. So I think I'll go with that, even though I do think this Family Tree one sounds incredibly boring and bland. I guess bland doesn't equal boring, but in my mind when I was looking, that's kind of what I was going for. So we will see. So yeah, final picks, The Office of Historical Corrections. I think, God, it's still a dead tie on these, so let me know. I'll probably start reading each and decide from there. I'm leaning more towards this one because it's more summary. However, this one is just a heavy hitter that I've been wanting to read so long. And then with the 20 years ago, let me know, Tobias Wolff, or if I should go for the Mark Lehner book. I am leaning more towards the Mark Lehner. And then obviously we have this one decided for us, thank God, right? Too many decisions. So Small Mercies will be on the list for sure. What do you think? Let me know if you have any fun prompts that I can add to my TBR Teapot. I'm open to anything. So yeah, if I get prompts that could kind of give me a direction of maybe like this, 3 to 5 books, and then I can pick one from there, that would be great. So yeah, I hope we can get through some of these. And if I actually do end up bursting through a bunch of books, I will keep all of these aside, and then I will focus on these if I can get over that 4 books. As it is right now, it's June 28th, and I am just starting Crossroads, which is 580 pages. And I'm not a fast reader. I read a lot, or I try to read a lot, but I'm not a fast reader. So we shall see. I hope this wasn't too boring. I had a good time, and thank you for joining me. And, like I said, just please put below if there's any books here that you've read that I showed. And again, I'm sorry if I said any of your favorite books are boring. Honestly, I haven't read any of these, so I don't know. Join me again next time, and until then, keep reading.